Okay, the last attempt to make a video with my webcam didn't work out so well, so I had to kill it and try again. Um, I'm not crazy about what's been going on with Justin Trudeau and the people who surround him. I consider them a bunch of rank amateurs when it comes to politics. They have no clue what they're doing. They never did have. And they put Canada in a very, very seriously bad condition. And it just keeps getting worse. Today, actually the last couple of days, the bad news story for the week is about these two ISIS clowns that were picked up by the RCMP as they were on their way to the United States to create mayhem at one of the Trump gatherings of thousands. I always laugh about that. But at any rate, they got scooped. And the father and son. And the story got out. And the opposition now, this is Pierre the liberal killer, is thoroughly on course here with this one. But nothing to do for Trudeau. He's like Teflon. As far as our media is concerned, you know, it's like water off a duck's back. Anything that happens to him is never a bad thing. They say that no publicity is a bad thing, even when it is a bad thing. At any rate, the Liberals at the moment are stuttering and stammering and wondering what they do next. So they tried to scoop, and I guess they did manage to scoop Mark Carney. Boy, did he get himself into a jackpot there. He has no idea what's coming for him. But the thing that caught me about this pair was a video put up by I don't know where. I just picked it up a few minutes ago, but I'm going to play it first. And it sets up a timeline for when these people came to Canada and after doing multiple ISIS-type things overseas, and how they got into Canada, and the timeline is there. So anyway, I'm looking at the timeline, and I'm saying to myself, well, who the hell was the immigration minister at that time? So I went to Wikipedia, and I checked. And sure enough, up I come with the name Ahmed Hussein. He's now a member of the Privy Council, and he's a Liberal MP, and he's a Muslim. Now, no accusations are being made, but well, cop instinct smells a rat. So I expect that the media already has picked up on this, and they're thinking about it too. So that's going to blow up on Trudeau very, very shortly, if I'm any judge of media character. So I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to run the first video, and you can make up your own mind after you've had a look at the Wikipedia entry on Hussein and watch the timeline, and I think you're going to put it together yourself. I don't need to help you. It's simple common sense. So here we go.
We're learning more tonight about how the RCMP tracked a father and son accused of plotting a terrorist attack in Toronto.
The men were not on Canadian authorities' radar before the beginning of July. Sources told Global News that the father allegedly appeared in an ISIS propaganda video around 2015, in which he allegedly hacked a man taken prisoner by ISIS with a sword.
It's not clear how and when Ahmed and Mustafa El-Didi entered Canada, but last month they were arrested in a Richmond Hill hotel after a tip-off from another country. The RCMP claimed the pair was planning an attack in the name of the so-called Islamic State.
Think that the system is working if somebody like this, who's an alleged ISIS terrorist, who, if he was even a little bit more productive, would have resulted in mass casualties in Toronto? Do you really think that that's how the system should work? Do you really think that this is not a colossal failure of your government?
I am very proud of the work that the RCMP and CSIS did in thwarting this particular case.
Okay, there you go. You make of it what you will. Nothing that I can do from here that will make any difference. But if I'm in charge of an investigation at this point, I'll tell you, there'll be a lot of hard questions being asked of Trudeau and the monkeys that he has surrounding him. Actually, I shouldn't say monkeys. They're smarter than monkeys. Probably closer to chimpanzees. But they're in trouble. And you don't have to be a fortune teller to know what's coming down the pipe for them. This is going to get very, very complicated for Justin Trudeau. And that water slipping off a duck's back, well, it won't be. It's going to be something much worse. And the water isn't going to be slipping off his back. So let's have a look and see what Pierre Poilievre, I'm not sure I pronounced his last name right. I prefer to call him the Liberal killer anyway. It's better. So anyway, here's a video that I tried to get up last night, but it didn't work too well. You can watch it. He's interviewed, and he gives some really decent answers. And I would say right now that Liberals under Trudeau are not the only ones in deep trouble. There's a lot coming down the pipe regarding Jagmeet Singh too. This is the guy who supports the Khalistani movement and does it from Canada. And here he is in charge of a federal Liberal Party. And India is having a shit fit over him. How the hell did this happen, they're asking. Canada, our long-standing example of how to get things right. And all of a sudden, we got this moron running a federal Liberal Party, and he's supporting the separatists? Boy, oh boy, I'll tell you, this is getting priceless. Anyway, here we go. I'll be back when this video is done too.
The country is facing some political uncertainty after the NDP ended its deal with the Trudeau Liberals. For more on this, we're joined by federal Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre. Mr. Poilievre, good afternoon. Thank you for taking time to speak with us. Let's start with this.
Good to be with you.
Look, the wheels are in motion locally. We've seen Toronto-St. Paul's flip. Are you ready for an early election and becoming prime minister?
Yes, we need a carbon tax election. After 9 years of Trudeau and the NDP Liberals, everything costs more. 2 million people line up at food banks. 1 in 10 Torontonians are relying on food banks right now. The cost of housing has more than doubled to the point where 2/3 of young people believe they'll never be able to own a home. This was not the case before Trudeau. Crime, chaos, drugs, and disorder are rampant in our once safe streets. And now Trudeau and the NDP want to jack the carbon tax up by 300%, all the way to 61 cents a litre, which will grind our economy to a halt. But the good news is that common sense conservatives will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. But we need a carbon tax election to get there, and that's what we'll be pushing for in the fall.
Okay, along those lines, Mr. Poilievre, you continually push for the end of this carbon tax. I'd like for you to elaborate on some of the other issues on your platform that you say will save Canadians money. I'd like some concrete examples, please.
Sure, build the homes. As you know, after 9 years of Trudeau, housing costs have doubled, and Canada now has the most expensive housing in all of the G7. And why is that? The reason is that we have the fewest homes per capita. And that's a little strange given that we have by far the most land to build on. What's the obstacle? It is government gatekeepers that block building permits and tax home building. So I will require local governments speed up permits, free up land, cut taxes and bureaucracy to build 15% more homes per year as a condition of getting their federal funding. Cities that beat my target will get a building bonus. The municipal government will get more money if its bureaucrats are quickly and affordably approving more home building. I'll sell off 6,000 federal buildings, thousands of acres of federal land to build. We'll back the trades because we need boots and not suits to build the homes. There should be hope, because when I was housing minister, the average rent in Canada was only about $950 for a one-bedroom, or about $1,100 for a two-bedroom. So I've proven that we can make housing affordable, and that's what I'm going to do when I'm prime minister.
I'd like to talk about crime and safety. Look, over this past weekend, we had 11 shootings in this city, 3 of which were fatal. 1 was only 15 years old. And, when it comes to a lot of the recent shootings, the suspects have been teenagers. What is your plan to restore safety, not only here, but around the country?
Yeah, this is another new problem we didn't have before Trudeau. Gun crime, violent gun crime, is up 120% after 9 years of Justin Trudeau. The problem is that he keeps releasing repeat violent offenders onto the streets on automatic bail, parole, and house arrest through bills like C-75, C-83, and C-5, The worst criminals can get released automatically. Here in BC, Vancouver, give you an incredible fact. They had to arrest the same 40 offenders 6,000 times in 1 year because they keep getting released on automatic liberal bail. I will repeal catch and release, and I'll bring in a new law that says that rampant career criminals are ineligible for bail, parole, probation, or house arrest. Second is we're going to secure the borders, because 99% of the shipping containers that come in are uninspected, and that's where 85% of the guns that do crime come from. It's not Canadian gun owners who are very much law-abiding. They have to go through a lot of screening and testing and training. It's not gun owners that are doing this. It's gun criminals who are smuggling in illegal foreign arms. So I want to scan every shipping container at our 4 biggest ports, bolster our our fight against international crime syndicates that bring the drugs and guns in, and we'll pay for it by canceling this ridiculous gun grab that Trudeau is promising, where he wants to confiscate hunting rifles. It's not Grandpa Joe's hunting rifle that's causing the problem. It's gangsters and gun criminals. Let's block them at the border and lock them up in prison.
And I have to ask, so yesterday you issued a challenge to Jagmeet Singh to vote for a carbon tax election, and with all due respect, you call him sellout, saying you mispronounce his name. How's that going to get him on your side?
Well, I'm not trying to get him on my side. He's on Justin Trudeau's side. I'm on the side of the people. He has sold out Canadians. He signed on to a costly coalition with Trudeau that doubled housing costs, taxed your food, punished your work, unleashed crime and chaos in our communities. He did that by breaking the promise he made that he was going to be a voice for workers. So he did sell out. And what I'm saying is, stand up for the people who voted for you. Vote for a carbon tax election so that Canadians can choose a common sense conservative government that will axe the tax, build the homes, fix the budget, and stop the crime. So we can again have a country where hard work earns a powerful paycheck that buys affordable food, gas, and homes in safe neighborhoods.
And as we wrap up, we just spoke with Mr. Singh a few minutes ago. I left an open-ended question for him at the end. I'm going to do the same for you. But I'd like to hear something that we've not heard you say before or really hit home. What is that?
Something that you've never heard me say before?
Right, throughout this process.
Yeah, I think one of the things we need to do is get more of our immigrant doctors and nurses working in the system. We have 20,000 immigrant doctors, 32,000 immigrant nurses that can't work because they can't get a license even when they're highly qualified. So what I'm proposing is that we do in the professions what we did in the trades 72 years ago, which is to create a national licensing test so that newcomers to Canada can take the test, prove they're qualified, and we can get more doctors, nurses, engineers, and other highly qualified immigrant professionals earning powerful paychecks and relieving those terrible wait times in our hospitals.
Okay, Federal Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre, thank you very much for taking time to speak with us this afternoon. We really appreciate it. Even though it's over Skype, you promise next time you'll be here live in studio, okay? Holding you to it.
I can't wait to see you in person for a coffee. Thanks very much.
All right, thank you.
Okay, there you go. You've got on one side of this equation, political equation, you've got a gang of children running this country and chasing unicorns all over the place, thinking that they're doing good things. Meanwhile, the country's going to hell. Our armed forces is particularly being affected by this mess. And don't think that Russia and China aren't watching that situation, because our northern area is completely unguarded at this time. And it's only a short hop for Putin to come crawling across that top of that pole, and the next thing you know, you've got 5,000 or 10,000 troops Russian troops advancing on Canada from the north. Think about that. Our children would not know what to do. They would be looking and begging the United States to bail them out because they have so shortchanged our military that we can't fight back. On the other hand, when you look at our lovely conservative liberal killer, happy little Pierre, I'll tell you right now, you see extreme competence. I watched that man for years as they sat in opposition, even when they were working with Harper. He was a standout. And I always liked him. When his name came up to run the Conservative Party after two deadbeats dropped the ball, and I clapped. I said, by God, they got a winner. And there was a week or two, maybe a month, where he said, no, I don't want to go there. But he rethought it, and he realized that there was nobody else that could step into that problem, into those shoes. And he did, with a vengeance. Don't ever think that Poilievre, maybe that's the right one, Poilievre is going to take it easy on this liberal monster that has controlled Canada for so long. My view is that he would never say this out loud, but I think he's out to destroy the left in this country completely and utterly because they have harmed us so badly. And that's why they're running scared. That's why the media is running scared. That's why every lefty in the country, and boy, we have our fair share of them. That's why they're running scared too. Because they know if he goes in with a supermajority government, all hell is going to break loose, and a lot of people are going to end up in jail. I'm going to leave it there. Apparently, looks like about now the debate in the United States is nearly over, and it's Donald Trump against that little strumpet running the Democrat Party like now. She's like Trudeau, okay? And she reminds me of that character in Little Abner cartoons, the one walking around with an umbrella over his head, Mr. Zook, and the rain pouring down on him, and everywhere else it's sunshine. You can't make this stuff up. It is priceless. And somebody is going to sit down and write a book someday. It won't be me, but boy, oh boy, it's going to be a comedy act in 10 chapters at least. And Canada deserves it. Anybody who is stupid enough to go out and vote for either the NDP or the Liberal Party of Canada, okay, should have their driver's license taken away. They're too immature to be doing anything else. And they're little children. They haven't grown up yet. God Almighty. I'm gone. I'm starting to lose it here. Good night.